The Druski allegations. Uh-oh. Druski, come on, man.
Was amended to include
The Druski
multiple names, and
allegations.
one of the names
Dun
was
dun.
Druski's. In this suit, he was accused of some very serious and terrible things that, if true, could land him in prison for a long time. Right after the allegations came out, though, Druski quickly responded, calling them false. But to truly understand what Druski was accused of and why this whole lawsuit is just so strange, we have to look a bit deeper. Real quick, I do want to say, just because he's named in this lawsuit doesn't mean it's true. I'm not saying it's false either, but I do want to point to what happened to Jay-Z recently. A lot of people kind of jumped the gun on Jay-Z, who, if you haven't heard, was accused of being involved with Diddy as well. But after that happened, everyone went after Jay-Z. The entire internet was on fire. But then the accuser later dropped the suit. Allegedly, she admitted to fabricating the story and was just recently sued by Jay-Z for defamation.
I don't know. I think
However, when
Jay-Z
Jay-Z
was
was
part of that
first
shit.
accused, you know, everyone was talking
Think
about
he's
it.
part
But
of
when
that
all
shit.
stuff happened, it was pretty quiet. So I do want to say it's best to not jump the gun on these sorts of things because these are very serious accusations. And I also don't want to make it seem like I'm accusing the accuser of lying, but I just want to make sure that we're being fair and impartial to both sides. With that being said, let's break down what we know. On March 7th of this year, an ongoing lawsuit against Diddy was amended to add OBJ, Jaguar Wright, and Druski. Originally, this lawsuit was filed in late 2024. Similar to the Jay-Z lawsuit that I've previously discussed, all of this information in the lawsuit that they're accusing Druski and these others of was already there. They just referred to these people as John Doe or Jane Doe. But now it seems like the lawyers are confident enough to actually name people. So they must believe they have a good enough story or enough evidence. After being amended, news broke to the public on March 9th. One thing I did notice that was sort of weird is that none of the more credible pop culture news outlets really reported this.
Didn't Odell get fucking caught recently on some weird shit, wanting girls to shit on his chest or something? Now we're gonna be surprised that he's on this shit? Really? We're gonna be surprised?
I didn't see anything from Rolling Stone, Complex, Billboard, or anything like that, which did have me a little concerned for the credibility of the lawsuit. But you can see on Pacer Monitor that this court document was properly amended and filed. The lawsuit is on behalf of 3 people: a Jane Doe, a John Doe, and a lady named Ashley Parham, so basically just one lady and 2 anonymous people. In this document, it's accusing Druski of being with Diddy and OBJ and some others at a party, and they're saying that he drugged and hit some women. This allegedly took place in 2018 at one of Diddy's infamous parties. However, you'll see
freak
what I mean in a
offs.
second. Some of these details are very strange. For example, the lawsuit says Druski doused plaintiff with more oil/lubricant and then jumped on top of plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of plaintiff due to his enormous size.
Like a slip and slide, Druski? Like a slip and slide, dude. Come on, man.
Which, let's be honest, is such an insane thing to see in a lawsuit. Then it continued to say that Druski raped her while Diddy was in the room watching. Another weird sentence in the suit says, plaintiff John Doe took immediate notice of defendant Odell because when he took his clothes off, plaintiff remembers defendant being in great shape, especially in comparison to the naked bodies of defendants Diddy and Druski. The lawsuit also says, plaintiff John Doe witnessed defendant Druski doused plaintiff Parham in baby oil and then jumped and slid across her body. So these are just definitely really weird things to see in a lawsuit.
Slip and slide Druski.
They're basically calling Druski fat. They said he's enormous. They said that Odell looked great compared to him and Diddy's naked bodies. Like, these are just, again, really weird things. Another part of this lawsuit I found very strange is when they accused Jaguar Wright of trying to sex traffic one of the women, which, if you didn't know, is weird because she was one of the main people who was calling out Diddy and Jay-Z on live television with Piers Morgan. So it doesn't make sense to me why she would be accusing them of this stuff and then also involved. It just doesn't make sense. Regardless, though, these are very serious accusations, and there was much more about Druski in the lawsuit, but it was all along the lines of what we just talked about. However, again, it's important to keep in mind this has not gone to court yet and there's no evidence. Of course, though, very quickly the internet got on this, doing
They were on Druski's ass.
They thought some old videos of Druski are looking pretty suspect with this new context.
I tell you this, I'm digging that Burberry you got on though, man. That's sexy.
This one, right?
That's hot. You smell good too, by the way. I meant to tell you that.
Help.
Like I mentioned, Twitter was on fire as soon as the news broke. A lot of fans were
I
just
don't know what the
mocking
hell that
Druski
was,
and the
but
entire situation. However, some others decided to poke some holes in the story since a lot of the details don't add up. There's also this video of Druski and Diddy from about 4 years ago that is now going viral again.
Don't mind if I do.
the dynamic duo together? Oh hell no. The fiddler.
I wouldn't. Shot.
But in general, it seems like a lot of people are just
Yeah,
making
they
fun of the
definitely was on
situation
some
because no
weird
one really
shit.
knows anything yet besides the fact that this lawsuit is real.
They
But
was
probably
definitely
the
on some
strangest thing that
weird
people have been
shit.
going back to is old interview clips of Druski where people have asked him if he's ever actually been to Diddy parties, in which he said he has.
You ever been to one of Diddy parties?
Yeah, I've been in attendance.
Bro, look at the smile on this dude's face. Dude, he's been to the Diddy parties, bro. The smile on this motherfucker's face, he been to the Diddy party. Them freak offs, oh yeah, he been to them shits.
Hey, what the fuck you smirking for?
I ain't seen.
I've been in attendance.
We just asking regular
That's all I said.
questions.
That's all I said. I said I've been in attendance. I have been in attendance.
We never been. We just asking.
We just
Yeah,
asking.
yeah. As soon as you asked, he said,
You had fun?
I ain't seen that.
"Yeah, you did."
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, it was a party. I wasn't at one of them parties.
Oh,
I don't know.
he said, what
We
party
ain't
you
seen
talking
that
about?
motherfucker.
What party you talking about?
People really give themselves away, dude. It wasn't one of them parties. What you mean one of them parties? You already know what we're talking about because you go to them shits, you sick pervert.
Nigga, y'all
What
smiling
part-
too
what
much.
parties you talking
I
about?
have been in attendance at a puff party. You know what I'm saying? I've been in attendance. Yeah, I went. Yeah,
Okay.
but I ain't. Yeah, nah. I don't know which party. The party I went to, it was girls. You know what I'm saying? The regular, you know what I mean? Other celebrities and shit. Yeah.
That's when you know it lying with
I was hitting the slip and slide, getting them all old up and hitting the slip and slide.
You know, she,
So just all get while
Were
the
you at
getting's
any of the
good.
Diddy parties, or did you miss that?
What the? Where did that come from? How did that? Of all questions.
Or did you miss that train?
How did that go?
That train might have left the
That
station,
train took
but you
off
were
from the
right
station.
there.
Yeah,
you
that
were
train-
right there to
That
get
train
on that.
took off from the station for sure.
were
Yeah.
close.
I wasn't at that train station.
You left early? You left
no,
early?
that was down the street from me. I wasn't there. No.
Did you ever meet Diddy?
Yo, what the?
Shane's giving him the look.
Bro, yeah.
This ain't looking good for Druski.
I've seen pictures
actually
with you
might have.
there. In the picture.
And of course, Reddit has also been going crazy about the shocking news. I will say that there's also quite a bit of misinformation floating around this subject, like there always is with news. For example, I saw one person saying that they thought it made sense because Druski lived with OBJ around this time. However, that isn't true, and they lived together in, I believe, 2020 or 2021. Another rumor I saw is that people were calling this a RICO case and saying that, you know, since it's RICO, it's the feds who actually did the lawsuit, but that isn't true either. Like I explained, it's just a lawsuit coming from individuals, and in the suit they accused Diddy of having a RICO sort of enterprise, but it's not an actual RICO case. So clearly what we're seeing here is the internet freaking out and just trying to assume that whenever someone is in the slightest bit associated with Diddy, that they're totally guilty. One fan on Reddit put it well when they said, "I hate that people just go, he attended Diddy parties, so he 100% did X." Like, I would guess most big celebrities went to these parties, probably because Diddy threw some of the best parties, but it's what happened in secret that was the issue. Also, I would guess he would sprinkle normal parties in with wild ones, as having them every time would be too open, and just to get the people that attended suspected and have some deniability in there. So it just goes to show that a lot of people online were jumping the gun. And with the internet going so crazy, making these memes,
Druski at Diddy
very
parties.
quickly, Druski responded. Druski posted to his Instagram and Twitter, "This allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives." And this statement
That's a W response from Druski. I can't even lie. W response.
Is what I personally believe causes these accusations to have some holes, especially since
He's giving
it's pretty
himself
well
a
known that
fucking
Druski blew
alibi.
up during
He
the
wasn't
COVID
he wasn't
lockdown in
famous.
2020.
But
Many
how
people
would he be?
attributed
How
his
would he be
success to
there
the
if he wasn't
rise of
famous?
both Jack Harlow and everyone being locked up inside wanting to watch some funny videos. Sure, he was a small fry creator in 2018, and he could have been there, but in my opinion, that doesn't seem very likely. It does seem like the majority of people sided with Druski after his response.
I wish Druski didn't even dignify that foolishness with a response. Like, whoever created that story didn't even try to make it sound believable. And stories like this one just make it harder for real victims to be believed.
And then also, it's still just a stain on your name. I get why he did say something.
Between the absurdity of the claims in the lawsuit and just the crazy way it was written, and the fact that Druski wasn't famous back then, it does seem unlikely that this could be possible. But at the same time, you never really know what the situation is until it properly goes through the legal system, and we may end up seeing more evidence. Still though, after what happened with Jay-Z's accuser, it's tough to know for sure until everything plays out. If you like this video, you might like my video explaining Jay-Z's situation because I mentioned it earlier, and watching that video with what we know now kind of goes to show how the internet likes to jump the gun. Anyways, if you guys want to make sure that you are in tune with
W vid. Druski. I don't know what they're trying to get you on, bro, but that shit whack as hell.